My English is not always the best because I'm still learning. There may be a lot of spelling errors and things like that, but we go over it. So, how did I begin to interest me in all those fields? I have a degree in agriculture, engineer in agriculture, but be sure that you don't learn all that stuff in the degree. So I wanted to learn a lot of alternative techniques for agriculture and food production. And I was always attracted to everything that seems mysterious, special. I was always very curious and also close to nature. I grew up in a little farm, and a very little farm, and the idea was to live from the products of the farm. It was not easy for my parents, but I grew up in that spirit. So that would make you understand how I get to all those discoveries. An example, here's some of experiments I did on sunflowers. You see, the sunflower is still growing, and it was already a lot more bigger. It was already like 3 meters or 10 feet. And after the head of the sunflower was like, it was like this big. So it's really very big. So that's possible for everybody in his garden. What I tell to the farmers, do you find normal that all your plants become always sick? That's not normal. Now the people are used to that they have always to do treatments against pests, against sicknesses, against insects. But I say that's really not normal. It's like all the plants, like we too, a lot of us, we are regularly sick. That's not normal. Normally we have to be always healthy. And in some exceptional case, we can become sick maybe, but normal, we are healthy. And so I think whole nature, we are so disconnected by nature, by our way of doing, that whole nature and we too, we are like depressed. We are living like 5% of our potential, you see. And that is just because of ignorance of certain basic, simple techniques, like we learned already in the presentation before. We learned already about resonance, about frequencies. We never learned about that at school, and it's basic knowledge that we would have to know from childhood. So I did an exam. I did a research, a thesis about the influence of sounds on plant growth. Sounds and the effects of sounds and the different techniques as a field where it's like chemistry, you could give courses during 5 years only about sound, because there's so much to discover about that. And here that's an example of melodies I put on tomato plants. After 2 months, they were like 30 centimeters bigger. That's even after 3 months, the picture. And this was only with 6 minutes of certain melodies. 6 minutes. You see the profound effect only 6 minutes a day can have on plant growth. So that gives you an idea of the power of sound. Also, our spoken word has a real power. It's like in the previous presentation, there are people saying the sound, in cymatics, they are also experienced with old sounds of letters, and you can find it back in the picture of the sound in sand. You can really find back the letter of an old sound. The old sound of a letter of old languages, you can find back in the picture. It's really the resonance of the sound. Really interesting. So that was just illustration. We can even, the previous experiments was based on really quantum physics. I calculated the frequency of all the amino acids of the molecules, and then I made up like a music melody, and when you play that, it's like a key. It's like a key in a door. It's not just a basic tool. No, it's really a code, you see, and then it becomes in resonance with a certain protein biosynthesis in your body or a gene activation, and then you can have such profound effects. It's not just sound. It's like sound, but it's like a melody. It's like information. And you can find that back in our melodies, like in Vivaldi, or you can find back in shamanic know-how, the shamans, when they sing to heal somebody, they take a plant, they become like in resonance with that plant and with the patient to heal, and then they would sing a certain melody that corresponds with the proteins and the proteins of the plants. It's like it's like an inspiration, like an intuition, but 10 times more powerful, like a really good intuition. And the birds too, they can sing like those codes. They sing that every day. You see, it's like a code. You can do that at different octaves, different levels. Just put, yeah, thank you very much. You can do that at different levels. It's always the same information. It's just at different level. And also, on electromagnetic levels that you don't hear, that are invisible, it's also all around us, and it's also all codes. Each protein synthesis in our body emits those waves around us and would influence also the other around us. You're here? Maybe, oh. Maybe, yeah. So it's like a bird, and you see what happens here in the cells? You see it moves. That's the morning. Or in springtime, you would first hear the birds singing, and then you would see the seeds sprouting. It's not the opposite. And that's the reason. With certain frequencies, the seeds would sprout a lot quicker. Very interesting. So I could talk days about that, but now I would continue with on another experiment on vines. With that was with music, with classic music. You had like also more than 30% more growth. You see the vines on the here's the top of the rod, and here that was the control. They even didn't reach it, and there were no. On those vines, there was no pest, no sickness, no mildew, no sickness. So that's very interesting when you know all the products they use to treat the vines, all the chemistry products that pollute and so on, and that are even toxic. If the wine of today was water, it don't respect the potability rules. You see, it would not be allowed to be sold, you see, as a mineral water, because of all the toxic products you find in it. About music again, and the pyramid, very interesting too. I would tell a little about it and the link with pyramids too. An example, now we learn the music is tuned to 440 hertz, the A on 440 hertz. But that's not really a natural frequency. It doesn't correspond with any natural frequency I can find in nature.